graphics and the large production design, the importance of that in modern day theatre?
Honestly, it's really, for me at least, because I've been having, over the last 5 years, especially with Adyam, I've been able to go from work with different scales, different genres, different texts, different kinds of shows. And for me, it's really, I think design is a huge part of any sort of experience that you're doing, especially on a proscenium stage, a much bigger stage. Because you do have to, it's really world creation which you're trying to do. Now, while in the theatre we love and are able to have what we call temporary suspension of disbelief, where I could be sitting on a bare stage, have a blue light in front of me, and I say I was sitting at the beach one day, and I know that I am at the beach, and no one will doubt me. So the point is that what design does is takes that idea even further, and if you can augment and you can make much, you can flesh that idea out as much as you can. I think design can only help in your experience. It can only enrich your experience if done intelligently. There's a lot of design, I think, that happens which is done for the sake of design rather than for taking the story forward. And it's always a bit of a battle, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose in that sense. Like Sing India Sing, for example, it needed to have that kind of world building, that world engine. Really is what that set was for me. It really had to be able to deliver the scale but still make you feel intimate when you needed to. And it needed to knock your socks off but still draw you in when it needed to. And I think we achieved that with the design as a whole. On this particular one as well, it's about being able to seamlessly tell the story. It's not really about the set. It's really about how quick-paced Sorkin's writing is and how quickly the narrative moves. It's a breakneck pace that you go through in this
totally
script.
Furious pace.
Absolutely.
The courtroom, the ideal courtroom drama. This is really the template for
it's
that.
structured brilliantly. So all the design is basically there to help us take the story as quickly possible forward.
I want to come to Daniel and Joanne again. Now, Daniel really doesn't believe he has a case in the beginning, and he turns around and says, why are we doing this? It's not about morality and who's right and who's wrong. It's the law, and you're not going to win this. Whereas, Joanne's got a bit of a moral compass on this one, saying, these guys can't go into the slammer for this. And slowly and steadily we see his perspective shift.
Right.
And slowly and steadily, of course, in the movie, I don't know if you've retained it in the play, but I think you have, because you said you've kept it. There's a brief moment of flirtation between the two of them.
Yeah.
And this relationship does change, from almost animosity to some kind of respect for each other. So talk me through that, Neil.
Well, it is a relationship that's goal-oriented because they have a case to take care of. Joanne is the brains of it, and Daniel Caffey, the character that I play, is pretty much, he's gung-ho about it. He can, he's got that confidence, as you said. So we collaborate on it, and the relationship goes through ups and downs. There's, conflicts, and okay, I see your point, and you agree with each other. But the thing is to get the job done, to save these people's lives, because once the hammer goes down, there ain't nothing you can do to turn that back. So it's like, courtroom dramas are fantastic if it's done well. Obviously, if it's written, this is something about opinions, whose opinion is right. ऐसा नहीं है कि like my opinion is better than your opinion, so you should follow me. So that's what we try and crack in this.
And Joanne, Joanne, the character, doesn't allow them to get intimidated by somebody of the stature of the colonel, who's actually quite an intimidating personality.
I think that
even though they got to meet him.
Yeah, I think Joanne's tactic in the whole play is to survive. Like you mentioned earlier, that she's a woman in a man's world, and I think that she has to push through in whatever way she can. She breaks protocol at several points of time in the play, and yet she knows that she has to be by the book to actually get anywhere in this world. So she goes and talks to his clients, the two people accused of murder, the Marines. Out of protocol. She goes and questions, attacks Jessup, out of protocol. But she has to do it because she needs answers, and she is very single-minded in getting to the truth of this situation. She's very single-minded about that. This guy is more about, listen, let me find the easiest way out. Let me solve this as quickly as I can. He doesn't want to get into the the nitty-gritties, and that's why their interaction is interesting, because she's pushing him to. She pushes all his buttons. She talks about his father, she talks about his insecurities, she talks about his, his inability to actually go deep into something and fight an argument and make a case and take himself seriously and be a good lawyer. So she pushes him. So I don't think it's really sexual or romantic, but it's two people coming together who understand each other and finally open up to each other and respect each other at some level.
Okay, tickets are still on for the Sunday 21st July show at St Andrews Bandra. A Few Good Men, Adyam Season 5. Go to Paytm and insider.in. There's also August performances, Saturday and Sunday, the 24th and 25th at the Jamshed Baba NCPA. Thank you, Nadir.
Thank you.
Shernaz, Ira and Neil.
Thank
you,
you,
Rishi.
Rishi. Always a pleasure.
Great fun.
Up ahead, sport from around the world.